Here's a look at the starting lineups, which now includes Devin George, along with Robert Horry and Shaquille O'Neal up front, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher. And the backcourt of the Spurs remain the same. The red-hot Bruce Bowen, 10 for 12, including 7 from downtown in Game 2. Up front with Tim Duncan and David Robinson and Steven Jackson and Tony Parker in the backcourt. The official Steve Javie, Ron Garrison, and Mark Wonderland.
Marv, I mentioned the tinkering with the triangle. One other thing, Lakers would like the pace to be a Laker pace, not up and down the way the Spurs want to push the ball back and forth.
And this crowd is ready. They're hoping the Lakers are ready to get back into the series as Derek Fisher controls the opening tip. Shaq at the high post. And here is Bryant. Rebounded by Duncan.
You said it, Marv. Right away, we see Shaquille O'Neal move up the lane line and catch that first entry pass up at the corner where the lane line meets the foul line. So they've changed a little bit in the triangle to start out with.
This time Bryant right up on Bowen, not allowing the open three. Jackson with the rainbow from downtown, rebounded by O'Neal.
Remember, Lakers were last in the NBA at guarding the three-point line during the regular season. After 2 games, 50% shooting for San Antonio.
Devin George connects on his first field goal attempt.
First time you saw Shaq high post on the left side. That time, high post on the right side. Then a little split action got George the jump shot.
For the Spurs coming into tonight, it cannot get any better, although Greg Popovich told us earlier his major concern is that his team might be overly satisfied with themselves, too pleased about what took place in San Antonio.
Well, the tendency is when you see a team losing 2 of its top 7 players, George, again, with the jump shot from the top, I'd say his foot's feeling a little bit better right now. When you win 2 games and the second one as convincingly as the Spurs did, the tendency is to say, we've got these guys now. We took the first 2 at home. You give the Lakers a chance to believe that they can come back, they'll take advantage of it.
Here's Duncan trying to go glass, swept by O'Neal. Bryant met by Bowen. Now Shaq is down deeper. Here's Kobe Bryant. The Lakers with a 6-0 lead. Greg Popovich wants to talk it over, takes a 20-second timeout.
Kobe that time actually snuck behind Shaq on the baseline. Shaq turned around, hit him in the low post there. He didn't give Bowen a chance to get into him. Immediate turn, fade, and hits the jump shot.
Devin George inserted into the starting lineup, a surprising development, and comes out and hits on his first 2 shot attempts.
You see Kobe Bryant sets the first screen off the split, then Shaq makes the pass, then he takes it to the middle, top of the circle area, off the dribble, hits the second jump shot. It's got to do wonders for this young man's confidence. 1 to start, 2 to hit his first 2 shots.
How about Shaq 3 assists? Setting up all 3 Laker buckets. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Phil Jackson's message to the team was the force of yoga. He said, forget the past, overlook the future, focus on the present. Don't dwell on the past, concentrate on the moment. Athletic skills will not overcome mental toughness and physical effort.
All right, Craig, the Lakers back to the offense. Horry for 3. Robert Horry not able to get out of his three-point slump, has not shot the ball well throughout the postseason. Jackson with George picked off, and David Robinson puts it down for the first bucket of the night by San Antonio.
San Antonio comes right back, plays 2-man basketball, uses a high screen in the middle of the floor to get that dribble penetration, bring Shaq over, and allow Robinson to finish.
Here's O'Neal going at Robinson. Rebounded by Duncan. Tony Parker had an outstanding Game 2 in San Antonio on Wednesday. Steven Jackson able to turn it from the 0 for 6 in Game 1. Duncan, Shaq came over, but a bit too late.
He knew that if he got his hand up there, probably was going to be goaltending, so he pulled it back off at the last second.
The Lakers with the first 6 points. The Spurs with the last 4. Replayed by Robinson. And as Bryant makes his move, a foul is called. It's on Bowen.
Well, just to show you a difference in philosophy, Phil Jackson, if the Spurs were to get off the 6-0 start, Phil Jackson probably would have let his team go, not taking a timeout. He believes it, and they'll find a way to play their way back in. On the other hand, Popovich took the timeout, got the team in, get them to regroup, and now all of a sudden they come out, hit 2 quick baskets, and they're back in a 6-4 game.
George is feeling it. And here's Parker looking to set it up. Bowen. That was a 2-point attack. But you can see that Kobe Bryant is now respecting that outside touch of Bruce Bowen. Bryant for O'Neal. Well, they doubled on Kobe. And he was able to find the cutting O'Neal.
Sometimes you forget just how athletic Shaquille O'Neal is. Yeah, he's huge, he's big, strong, but he is very athletic. A nice catch and finish that time.
Duncan, and the tip by Robinson. Rebounded by Bryant. Derek Fisher. Yes. Fisher hits the 3, and suddenly the Lakers are getting help from other sources. That was not the case in Game 2.
That's what Phil Jackson wanted. Space out the floor, pass the basketball. You may have said the whole thing, Marv, when you mentioned that Shaquille O'Neal started out with 3 assists. They only had 10 assists last game and 11 the game before that.
Jackson for 3. And as Fisher starts back, a technical foul has been called. It's on Bruce Bowen. Apparently Bowen was upset by that foul a moment ago. The personal foul had something to say to the official, Mark Wunderlich, and he's been teed up, so Kobe Bryant will shoot the technical.
Unusual, Marv, that Bruce Bowen would get a technical that early in the game. That's not like Bruce Bowen. Emotions are running high here, obviously running high with the officials as well. We're trying to take a look to see if we can see exactly where it takes place. There you see him shaking his hand at the officials. He's going down. We can't judge, obviously, what was said from here.
And we're talking about a public relations major at the University of Texas, San Antonio.
That's right. Exactly. One of those early morning, 7:30 classes working towards that degree.
Yes, Bruce taking the final exam for a public relations course at the University of Texas, San Antonio. That was this past Monday. Bryant rejected. And last touch by the Lakers.
Nice job of communicating. Ron Garrettson, the baseline official, wasn't exactly sure who it went out off of. He looked to the outside. Steve Javier's partner waited for him to look at it, then signaled, "I've got it," pointed the other way.
George gets picked off. Jackson has not been able to hit. A live TNT NBA Spanish language feed now available via SAP. Manu Ginobili, who has played so well over the first 2 games, getting set to check in as Horry is able to knock it down. Robert Horry, 21 for 63 in the postseason coming into tonight. He has been in a brutal slump. And let's see if that gets him going. Parker rebounded by Horry. Lakers with a 14-4 lead, just under 6 to go in the first. Horry got the step. And we are looking at a Laker team that we have not seen in this series. A 10-0 run by the Lakers, leading to a San Antonio timeout.
There's that little automatic move of flashing, running a backdoor. One of the adjustments that Phil Jackson and the staff made, and the Lakers take advantage of it.
And the Lakers facing adversity coming into tonight, down 2 games to nothing, but they have started out very impressively. 6 assists on 7 baskets. Shaq with 4 of those assists, in contrast to what took place over the first 2 games.
You just don't realize how hard it is to win 3 straight world championships and try to come back and win a 4th one. Never mind injuries, changing personnel on rosters, but the coaching staff and players go through all sorts of things that they have to deal with. Like you said, it's an ever-changing battle.
Here's George for 3. Yes! Devin George with an inspirational performance for the Lakers. Was not supposed to play here tonight because of that severely sprained left ankle. As Ginobili makes his move, he is tripped up. And a foul on the Lakers.
Kobe with the ball, getting other people involved in the offense, something that Phil Jackson feels was one of the keys if they're going to have a chance, and then obviously having that guy back on the floor, starting and producing the way he is already. 3 out of 4 from the floor, 7 points for Devin George.
Foul on George, his first. It's been a 13-0 run here by the Lakers. Malik Rose and Manu Ginobili have checked in for the first time. Duncan with a series of moves, played well by Ori and kept alive by Bowen.
Kobe thought that one of his 2 big men were going to come up with it. He just took his body off of Bowen just for a second, enough for Bowen to sneak in there and get it.
Now Duncan able to get inside. He got position, so that ends the 13-0 run.
See what the Lakers are trying to do is play Duncan straight up as much as possible, take away that 3-point line, which has been so damaging to them in the first 2 games.
Lakers 19 and the Spurs 6. O'Neal now played by Rose. Shot clock down to 7. So Bryant checks the clock, shoots over Bowen, and hits. Kobe Bryant, who has struggled with the shots.
Tumar had just a total of 3 assists. Here he is already with 2 assists and 5 points on 2 for 3 shooting, trying to get other guys involved as well.
As Bryant makes the cut away from the ball, a foul against the Lakers. It is an offensive foul on O'Neal.
Moving without the basketball, Kobe hits the big man. Now he's coming around for the outside handoff as Bowen steps into Shaq.
8 of San Antonio's 10 points, and it leads to a Laker timeout.
And this is why Phil Jackson called the timeout.
Fast start for the Lakers. They lead the Spurs 21-10. The surprising development prior to tonight's game. A, the fact that Devin George was available despite the severely sprained ankle. B, that he was in the starting lineup. Was back in game 1 in San Antonio. George went down with the ankle injury this early 4th quarter. Right there as he was looking to block the layup attempt by Manu Ginobili. Taken back for x-rays. A severe sprain of the left ankle suffered by Devin George. And Devin has come out and hit his shots, hit his first 2. He's 3 for 4 from the field, including 1 from downtown.
You know, you wonder about the regular season. Remember, Marv, he had moved up to almost splitting the game. He was playing about 23 minutes a game during the regular season, splitting that time with Rick Fox, averaging 7 points per game, shooting 39%.
And it's George again. When he's playing well, he's a perfect complement to Shaq and Kobe, but he had been erratic. Remember how well he played in the NBA Finals last year and then earned the new contract. Malik Rose off the mark. Tim Duncan able to get to it. He's stripped. Ginobili diving on the floor along with
Look like Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher, yes. Those are 2 guys that both went after it on the floor. Sometimes you see one guy go down and another guy reach for it. Here you have 2 guys willing to sacrifice the body. When the ball gets stripped and it's laying on the floor, instead of reaching for it, both of them are willing to go down for it.
We're down to 2:46 remaining in this first quarter. Lakers turning it from what we saw in San Antonio on Tuesday at 1 point. The Lakers were down by 33 points. And it will be San Antonio ball. Phil Jackson, who has coached 9 NBA championship teams, 6 with the Bulls, 3 with these Lakers. Phil is tied with Red Auerbach for most NBA titles. Once again, Shaq setting up high instead of down low. And Shaq comes across and Bryant puts the move on Bowen. And a beauty.
Bowen anticipated that after the fake to the middle, he was coming back to shoot the fadeaway. Toby outguessed him that time. Faked it, stepped under it.
Here is Rose. He was given that shot. Shaq did not come out.
And that's a smart move on Shaq's part. Make him make a couple jumpers rather than rush him and pick up a foul, because as soon as Shaq comes at him, he's putting it on the floor to try and go past him.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Lakers have a 25-12 lead. O'Neal, yes. Shaq shooting over the 6'7" Malik Rose.
Rather than trying to overpower him and run over the top of him, he's just taking his time, going away from him and shooting over the top of him.
Here's Duncan. And O'Neal leads the break. O'Neal looks to go all the way. We haven't seen this kind of passion from Shaquille O'Neal. This was not the guy we saw, though the numbers were impressive in game 1, but not the guy we saw in the 2 games in San Antonio.
People take challenges in different ways. You cannot minimize the amount, the effect this crowd has had on this team tonight, giving them the energy that they desperately needed, missing the first 2 games.
Malik Rose able to get the step, so the Lakers now lead 29-14.
That's what I said before. If Shaq comes up, he's going to put it on the floor and try and go by him.
And here is Shaq, rejected by Duncan. Kept alive, though. The Lakers able to maintain possession, and then O'Neal is fouled.
But you have to like that if you're the Lakers. You're seeing 3 passes around the perimeter. Let's look at the big man coming down the floor after the ball is secured. Bust out with that hard dribble, look over the floor, and keep it all the way with the finish. He loves it. He loves it.
It's a flashback to the NBA All-Star game where Shaq led the break. The foul was called on Rose. It's a non-shooting affair. Shot clock down to 7. Bryant using the pick. Kept alive by Horry. Horry very active here in the first quarter. Fisher trying to get it down low, and it's last touch by the Lakers.
Some second shot opportunities here for the Lakers, coming up with offensive rebounds. That time the pass, a tough pass trying to thread the needle. Shaq was between 2 of the dark jerseys. It was tough to handle.
Speedy Claxton has come on for Tony Parker. Claxton 6 of 7, 15 points in game 2, although most of the damage was done in garbage time. 3-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Ginobili, that will not count. Foul before the shot attempt. Lakers with a foul to give.
Devin George turned his head a little bit. He could be a little bit winded right now also. It was a little pass and movement without the ball by Ginobili. That's where the foul took place.
So 8.8 remaining in the first. Shaquille O'Neal hears it from this crowd. He'll get a rest. Mark Matson checks in. Shaq 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And it was the passing of Shaq right at the start that got the Lakers going. Down to 5 seconds. And a foul is called on George. So now the Lakers over the limit, and Spurs go to the line.
Trying to guard Ginobili, who's moving without the ball. Ginobili actually pushes George into Duncan. George trying to figure out, why is it a foul on me? His teammate pushed me into the big man.
Manu Ginobili, a 74% free throw shooter.
Danny Ferry replacing Tim Duncan.
And here's Danny Ferry coming on for Tim Duncan. Sits down with 8 points, 4 rebounds. Ginobili, an impact player over the first 2 games, and did much damage to the Lakers in the first quarter, both games 1 and 2. Changed the pace of the game. Pass for Shaw just came on and broke it up. They have an opportunity. Jackson, can he get it off? Been waved off as Robert Horry made contact with Stephen Jackson. Not a good foul by Horry, so Jackson will shoot 2.
Those are the problem when you have 5 seconds remaining and you try and get a little bit too cute. That time, the foul you see right there on the right arm as Horry leaves should have been Laker ball coming down with them getting the last shot of that quarter. Instead, Jackson will go to the foul line to try and put 2 more points on the board.
Stephen Jackson, a 76% free throw shooter. They reset the clock. 1.1 remaining in this first quarter. Spurs shooting only 69% from the line over the first 2 games. Jackson hits 1 of 2. Fisher gets it off in time. That's the end of the first here at Staples. A sizzling start for the Lakers, 13 of 20. Now, the last time that the Lakers faced a 2-0 deficit, the 1999 conference semifinals, the series ended with a San Antonio sweep, a collapse that cost that man, Kurt Rambis, his job as head coach. Phil Jackson taking over. Kurt now an assistant coach on Phil's staff.
Different times, different team, different mentality with this Laker team in particular at that time. We see some substitutions here by Phil Jackson bringing on, and early in the game right now, bringing on Samaki Walker.
And Gennaro Pargo has come on. Ginobili on the move is called for the offensive foul.
Pargo came all the way in from the offside and wound up stepping in there and taking that charge. Ginobili, who loves to go to the basket, tried to fake out the defender. He did get Kobe leaning left. Pargo comes from the corner, steps in to get Kobe's back on that.
Phil Jackson now has Robert Horry with Samaki Walker, and Kobe Bryant moves up to the small forward. Brian Shaw and Gennaro Pargo are at the guard. And here is Bryant. Now Stephen Jackson playing the backcourt with Speedy Claxton, Tim Duncan, Malik Rose, and Manu Ginobili on the front line. Claxton gets it down low to Rose. Tried the reverse and he's held. He was fouled.
Brian Shaw a little bit late coming over on the weak side that time. Horry stayed on the baseline to protect against the baseline drive. Lakers like to force side pick and rolls down most times. As soon as the man takes advantage and goes hard, that next defender comes across. Someone has to cut off the big man underneath.
This Sunday, right here on TNT, it'll be Game 4 of the Pistons and the 76ers, followed by Game 4 of the Mavericks and the Kings from Arco in Sacramento. Coverage starting at 7:30. 7:30 Eastern Time. And last night, Dallas with a 132-110 victory over Sacramento to tie the series at 1. Mavs set a first-half playoff scoring record, 83 points, and a costly game for the Kings. Chris Webber tearing up his knee, and he is out for the remainder of the playoffs. Kept alive, it comes back to Horry. Good play by Ginobili to poke it away. And the Spurs are back on it.
And we know that Sacramento has a deep, deep basketball team, but that is a huge loss for any team to overcome, losing Chris Webber.
Another turnover. Bryant spinning his way on Claxton. Finds the open man, and Horry once again passes up on the shot. Shaw takes it. That was a three-point attempt. One of the note concerning Sacramento, Bobby Jackson broke his right cheekbone last night. Rose gets inside and is able to tip it home. The crowd looking for offensive interference. Bobby Jackson, though, has been cleared to play tomorrow. They'll play Game 3 in Sacramento tomorrow, and we'll be on hand for Game 4 on Sunday night. Offensive foul, says Ron Garrison. So the ball back to the Spurs. It's on Samaki Walker. 2 minutes gone by in the second. The Lakers now lead the Spurs 29 to 21. You mentioned the Lakers shooting in the first quarter 13 of 20. San Antonio only 7 for 21. Shaquille O'Neal is getting ready to check back in. And again a foul on the Lakers. And it is on Walker once again. That's his second, and he'll take a seat.
You see San Antonio trying to capitalize on the time that Shaquille O'Neal is not on the floor. Walker playing Duncan. They just continually go right at Tim Duncan to make Walker have to play him. They just feel the mismatch is so great, they have to take advantage of it.
Bryant tried to dig in on Ginobili, who got the step, and that is foul. Foul on Kobe.
Kobe tries to get this from behind. He knows he's rubbed off. Watch, he stays with it, and right there he tries to strip Ginobili from behind.
Now Ginobili using the pick. Rebounded by Fargo. Ginobili with those long arms, and he is so quick getting a piece of that attempted pass.
We've seen Ori twice in the game set a pick and roll screen and then suddenly slip the screen. Before the ball comes off for a pick and roll, he leaves and goes to the basket.
Now Jackson defending on Bryant. Kobe Bryant with 9 points. He's hit 4 of 7.
Mark, it's easy to see the difference in the game right now. There's a little backdoor move that time for Jackson. Travels as he tries to get possession, and it'll be Laker possession. But going back to Kobe, it's been very efficient offensively. He's not taking 12, 14 dribbles to get to a spot on the floor where eventually he has to try and create a tough shot. It's coming easier to him tonight.
Well, Phil Jackson said it after game 1. He said it after game 2. Too much one-on-one on the part of Kobe Bryant, and was trying so hard to put up big numbers against Bruce Bowen. Here's Bryant using the screen. Kobe Bryant from downtown. So the Lakers lead by 13.
Yeah, look who's way out there setting that big screen, but Shaquille O'Neal.
David Robinson is back. Claxton. O'Neal able to one hand. Horry for O'Neal, and a foul is called. So Robert Horry with a lead pass for Shaquille O'Neal, and it led to the foul on Malik Rose. That's the second on Rose.
Kobe Bryant feeling good on offense right now, getting down the low post area, spinning away, clearing space, hitting that jumper.
Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant have led the way for the Lakers, who lead by 13. When Shaq sat out getting a rest, the Lakers were outscored 7-0. With O'Neal on the floor, the Lakers are a plus 20.
Well, when Shaquille O'Neal is sitting down, it's like the Lakers being on the playground in a pickup game, and some big bullies come over and go, okay, we want you off the court. All of a sudden, Big Brother shows up, and all that confidence comes back again. You got to take the court away from us now.
Did you have problems on the playground with big bullies?
I had no brothers. They never showed up. That's the problem.
New shot clock for the Lakers. O'Neal working his way on Robinson, and an offensive foul. So Shaq picks up his second, both at the offensive end. And the question coming into tonight's are, can Shaquille O'Neal adjust to the officiating as he continues to pick up offensive fouls? 5 of the 10 fouls called on Shaquille the first 2 games were offensive fouls.
So that's a total of 7 offensive fouls now in the 2+ games of basketball. It's the left arm that cleared the space that time.
Jackson. The improvisation by Stephen Jackson, then it's deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers as Jackson hit the floor. And Jackson is 0 for 5 from the field. Remember, he had the 0 for 6 in game 1. Picked it up with 10 points, couple of assists. Game 2 on Wednesday night. Bruce Bowen has returned, gets it into Danny Ferry. And Ferry with his first field goal. Lakers 34, Spurs 23. Pressure being shown by San Antonio. Shaw had to come back.
This is all to try and, first of all, take time off the clock so the Lakers don't have time to run their offense. Secondly, fatigue, tire them out. This is a team that's short-handed.
Shaw with the quick release, rebounded by Robinson. Phil Jackson telling us earlier that his team was fatigued. He felt they ran out of gas just looking at his players in that first half the other night.
If you keep getting yourself into a hole, you're trying to come back from big deficits, as Danny Ferry again tees it up. Danny Ferry on a given night can get into one of those zones where he'll hit 4 or 5 three-pointers on you, and he'll string them out. He can do that.
So the 3 by Ferry brings the Spurs with an 8. Matson with a nice feed, and O'Neal is fouled. Robinson and Ferry converging on Shaq. The foul picked up by Ferry.
Look at guys, Mark, that San Antonio has added to the end of their bench. Danny Ferry, Kevin Willis, Steve Smith, veteran guys who have been in a lot of basketball games in the NBA, a lot of playoff games. They complement these younger guys that are coming up through the Spurs organization.
Shaq at the line for the first time tonight. A programming reminder tomorrow on ESPN. It's the Pistons taking on the 76ers, followed by the Mavericks and the Kings. Our coverage starting 7 o'clock Eastern time, and Sunday on ABC at 3:30. It's game 4 of the Spurs and the Lakers. How about Tayshaun Prince doing it for Detroit against Philly? 20 points, 9 rebounds, his second 20-point game of the postseason after averaging, 3 points a game during the regular season.
This guy played 39 minutes in that game. Incredible for a guy who wasn't getting off the bench at all.
Steven Jackson with his first field goal.
But you can't be surprised, because the NBA season, 8 exhibition games, 82 regular season games, first round of the playoffs. He's into the beginning of his 3rd college season right now. It was a 30-35 game schedule.
Kobe Bryant headed to the line. Robinson called on the foul. That is his first. Thus far in this second quarter, Bryant 2 for 3 from the field. The rest of the Lakers 0 for 4. But Kobe shooting the ball well. His shot selection has been much better thus far.
Because he's not trying to work as hard as he was in the first 2 games. That was his competitive nature, his competitive spirit coming out, knowing they were without Rick Fox. Then suddenly he sees George go down. How are they going to have enough points, and try it a little bit too hard to make things happen for his team?
Lakers 36. The Spurs 28.
I want to go back to Detroit and Prince real quick. Give Rick Carlisle credit. He watched that young man grow and develop and practice the entire season, and then when he needed him, he had the courage to use him, and the young man produced for him.
And Detroit won without the injured Chauncey Billups. Jackson, yes! Steven Jackson has hit his last 2. This is the closest the Spurs have been since the early moments when the Lakers had an 8-4 lead. Lakers up by 6, just under 6, remaining in the first half. Here's Fisher for 3. Remember, it was 2 years ago that Derek Fisher blistered the Spurs, hitting 15 of 20 from downtown. Shot the 3 effectively against Minnesota, has not been able to get going from long range in this series. Jackson is fouled. That's 3 on O'Neal.
That's a tough one right there, because Shaquille O'Neal is up in the air, way over the top of Jackson, but it's the lower part of Jackson's body where the contact takes place. Actually, he's leaning, jumping into Shaquille O'Neal to initiate that contact. You'll see the crossover. He goes up in the air. Watch down low. That's where it takes place with the hips. Critical. In fact, San Antonio should feel not bad the fact that they're only down 9 points right now, because they've still got 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Very easy to close this lead down without Shaquille O'Neal around. Remember, Marv, after 2 games, Shaq was averaging 35 minutes per game because of foul problems. By the end of the regular season, he had worked his way back to up to 38 minutes per game in the regular season. And that's good considering he missed so much time with the toe surgery. Then when he first came back, he was not in the best of shape. So Phil Jackson had to limit his minutes, but they got him up to 38 minutes a game average by the end of the regular season.
The Laker lead is now 7. Kareem Rush has checked in for the first time. Down to 5 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Rush. Matson, played by Robinson and Fisher. Rebounded by Matson. They get the new shot clock. Oh, he takes the 3. Matson with the rebound, and he is fouled off the fake. David Robinson coming over the top. He and Tim Duncan conversion. Go to Craig Sager, Craig.
Oh, Marv, after picking up his 3rd foul, Devin George went to the bench where his left ankle became stiff and sore and tight. So they've sent him to the locker room. Right now he's on his back, elevating the foot, trying to rotate it and keep it loose.
All right, thanks, Craig. Jack Nicholson apparently got involved with one of the officials, Mark Wunderlich, and he's being encouraged by the crowd as Matson hits the first. Now, Steve Jabby, who is one of the officials on this crew, has been known to toss people, be it color commentators.
Why are you looking at me for? Don't look at me. I'm over here trying to do my job.
Unruly fans. Did you see Jack ejected from the arena?
Well, what Jack said right at the end, the last thing he said was, don't stare at me like you're trying to stare me down, because he said, you were wrong, in Jack's opinion.
You red lips. And a foul is called. It's on the Spurs. On Jackson. So the Spurs are now over the foul limit. We're down to 4.5 remaining in this first half. Robert Horry to the free throw line. Horry is 77% foul shooter at the line for the first time. The Lakers now 4 of 8 at the line.
Jack fired up, got the entire crowd up on their feet.
Jack Nicholson involved in a heated discussion with the official, Mark Wunderlich. Wunderlich who called the technical earlier on Bruce Bowen of the Spurs. 9-point Laker lead. Rose being played by Matson. And Rush giving Bowen no room. Shot clock down to 6. Rose lost it. Matson took it out of his hand.
Beautiful job of moving his feet on defense.
Horry, this time no hesitation, but still not able to get into a flow. He's 2 of 6 from the field.
Yeah, but I like the way that one looked. Like you said, he caught it and shot it without hesitating at all.
Jackson. Bowen trying to save it. Lands in the hands of Horry. Shaquille O'Neal sitting down after picking up a 3rd foul. Lakers led by as many as 17. They're now up by 9. Bryant thought he was pushed. And you see Bowen all over Kobe Bryant. Rush. Parker got the wallop in the chin. Here's Horry. He's fouled. Foul committed by Duncan. For Duncan, his first.
Well, I would think that Kobe Bryant would probably expect that he's going to go close to 48 minutes in tonight's game, because when Phil Jackson has to sit down Shaquille O'Neal, obviously you have to have a presence out there on the floor at the offensive end, whether Kobe is getting shots for other people or doing the scoring himself. So he's in for a long night.
Horry back to the foul line. Well, you can log on to NBA.com or America keyword NBA.com for the exclusive 2003 playoff section featuring live post-game press conferences, photo galleries, video highlights, and more. Love it live on NBA.com. Crowd looking to encourage Robert Horry, who has had a sparkling postseason career as a member of the Houston Rockets, 2 championship teams there, as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Like Phil Jackson said, he wants to do things to perfection. He doesn't like to make mistakes. He wants to do the right thing, take good shots, not force shots, and that's part of why he's a little hesitant.
Very precise player, as Phil describes him. Duncan on the follow, and he draws the foul.
Matson's done an excellent job. He's sticking his nose there, he's moving his feet defensively, and what the Lakers want to know is why, when Duncan turns in and Horry goes down, is it not the same as when Shaq goes in? There's the turn in, Horry goes down. Lakers questioning why Shaquille O'Neal picks up those fouls, but not Tim Duncan.
Foul on Matson. Both teams are now over the foul limit. Tim Duncan has had an adventurous time at the line this season. These are his first appearances. Duncan able to follow up and lost it. He thought he was fouled. Bowen gets back on Bryant. Fisher being played by Jackson with just under 3 minutes to go in the half. And as Bryant makes his move, that will not count. Ron Garrison says nope. Foul before the shot attempt, but San Antonio is over the limit, so Kobe will head to the line to foul on Bowen. That's his second.
The grabbing, the holding, the small things that perhaps you get away with in games 1 and 2 in your building, you may not get away with on the road.
The controversial Jack Nicholson. Teddy Marshall, a regular at Laker games. Michael Clark Duncan. And Jimmy Smits will continue to check out the crowd as the game progresses. Let's go over to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, Jack Nicholson may be ejected from this arena. Ron Garrison came over, told the security if there's one more outburst by Jack to get the security ready and have him escorted off the court. He was very irate about the call on Shaquille O'Neal. A lot of times Jack will kiddingly talk to the officials, but this time he went overboard according to the officials. They have warned him the security is on alert.
Well, Jack is challenging Ron Garrison. Garrison has his back to Jack Nicholson. He does not want to look in that direction, but you can see Jack continuing the discussion.
But that is not who Jack was having the initial conversation with way back when he jumped up off his seat and was a little slightly demonstrative.
Kobe now 3 of 5 from the foul line, just under 3 minutes remaining first half. Lakers lead by 11. They've led by as many as 17. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, and Craig Sager. It's game 3 of the best of 7. The Lakers trying to get back into this series. Crowd wanted to travel on Jackson. Here's Parker for 3. Jackson has done a nice job. Able to handle that rebound.
You see Kobe Bryant challenge the corner mark. They were out there at that three-point line, making sure they get to the shooters.
Fisher, and he is fouled. Running to by Parker. So Derek Fisher will head to the line. First foul committed by Tony Parker. As you look at Greg Popovich, the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, earlier this week. Greg named the NBA's Coach of the Year. It's the second time the past 3 years that the same team has had both the most valuable player and the Coach of the Year. Allen Iverson and Larry Brown pulled it off for the Philadelphia 76ers back in 2001.
Greg Popovich has done an outstanding job with this basketball team. You're not going to find a finer person, as good a coach as you're going to find around, and he just has built this entire organization in a first-class manner with the support, obviously, of a great owner, Peter Holt. But when you see what they've done down there, and now this year with the cap room they're going to have both this year and next, they will continue to have an outstanding program.
Well, this crowd thought it was a Lakers steal, but a reach-in foul assessed on Fisher, and that will put Ginobili at the line. Manu Ginobili, a star with Argentina's national team, a standout in the Italian League, the EuroLeague Finals most valuable player.
Well, coming into this game, 62-36 advantage at the foul line for San Antonio.
Coming up on the Verizon Wireless halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley with special guest Alonzo Mourning. Bryant on the funnel, and it's being waved off.
Saying you can't catch your own pass and then shoot the ball. It never. What the official is saying is, in his opinion, that it did not hit the backboard.
Now the officials are conferring. We'll get another look at it.
There goes Kobe turning the corner. See if we can see from this angle. Does it in fact hit the glass? And then Kobe goes and gets it. Mark Wunderlich, the official, walked over to Steve Javie, said he had a different look at it. They're going to give the ball, I think, back to the Lakers.
It's hard to tell from that angle. It's tough to tell the depth whether it did glance off the glass. So this is a compromise call.
Yeah, because it took a basket away from the Lakers. We're trying to look again one more time to see if it does in fact hit. Yes, it does. Looks like there it does hit.
That bucket should have counted. And now Bryant fires for three. Lakers up by 12 with a minute and 40 to go in this first half. Duncan being played by Matson Fisher over to help. Here's Parker with the step. And Ginobili is down. He's shaken up. So the Lakers playing 5-on-4. Ori, yes. But Manu Ginobili is hurting.
He got hit in his midsection. We're trying to get a look to see exactly how it happened. He was down on the floor and laid there for a second. Let's watch Kobe now. You see Ginobili trying to sneak in right here. He's going to try and change direction at the last second. Kobe tries to check him out. As I say, put a body on him. Well, he got his elbow on him in the midsection. Sometimes he can catch it just in the right spot and knock the wind out of you.
Realizing after conferring with the officials that the ball did hit the backboard, but it should have been a field goal for the Lakers. Instead, he gave the ball the Lakers along the sideline.
Well, you can't award the field goal if you've stopped play and taken it away at that time. As a result, at least they get the ball back again with another opportunity to try. If you're the coach of the Lakers, you're saying, we want those 2 points. Unfortunately, what you got was the ball out of bounds.
A minute 15 remaining in this first half. Manu Ginobili able to hang in. Apparently, he's all right. Danny Ferry is back. And now Duncan looking to put a move on Matson. Shot clock at 7. Here's Parker. Rebounded by Ori.
See Tony Parker improve his position, takes one dribble up, shortens a 23, 24-foot shot to a 19-foot jumper.
And we get a whistle of foul against the Spurs. It's getting very physical out there.
Well, they're on Kobe all the time, constantly hounding him. You see him up double-teaming the high pick and roll that time, so he couldn't turn the corner. And then as Kobe tries to move without it, Ginobili tugging, grabbing, putting his body into him. Those are things that will frustrate, aggravate, and if you don't get called for fouls, it takes a guy out of the game.
Ginobili with the second. Bryant now 4 of 6. At the line. The Lakers have hit only 4 of their last 16 shots, yet they have extended their lead. They've been able to take advantage at the free throw line. They now lead by 16.
Remember, it was a 9-point game when Shaq went out with just over 5 minutes remaining.
Duncan able to go baseline.
Phil Jackson just stood up and said, I want one shot, the last shot here of this particular quarter. Don't go too early.
Coming up on 10 seconds remaining. Bryant facing the double.
You want to go to round 6 is when you want to start to make your move.
Right, here it is. Bryant changed his mind. He saw Matson. Well, Kobe had a wide-open teammate in Mark Matson. You see Matson coming over and saying, "My fault."
Yeah, he did. It was terrible. Robert Horry came over, patted him on the head. He worked hard and did a great job for him.
So the Lakers, leading by as many as 17, saw that lead evaporate. The Spurs with a good run. Most of the run when Shaquille O'Neal was sitting down, but Lakers have a 50-36 lead here at the half. Let's go to Craig with Kobe Bryant.
Well, Kobe, Shaq picks up his third foul. Jack Nicholson almost gets ejected. You're up by 9, and now you're suddenly up by 14. What have you been able to do without Jack in the lineup?
Moving the ball. You know, we're not as stagnant tonight. We're cutting very well, setting picks for each other. As a consequence, other guys are getting involved.
You have 16 points. You should have had 18. They took a basket away from you.
Yeah, I know that one should have counted. I don't think you could have saw it from that particular angle.
What about here in the second half? You got a big lift from Devin George. You expect him to be able to come back?
Yeah, well, his minutes were limited due to foul trouble, but we expect him to come back in the second half, play with that same energy.
All right, thanks a lot. Mark.
Most unusual situation in the first half. Jack Nicholson went at the referee verbally, Mark Wunderlich, and was close to pulling a Jimmy Buffett, perhaps close to an ejection. For more on that, let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, I talked to Jack Nicholson at halftime. He said, quote, "They can't run me out of here. They're not going to get me out of here. I can stand here if I want to. I paid good money for my ticket. If they try to run me out of here, I will sue." Meanwhile, at halftime, the director of security who was on hand from the NBA, Bernie Tolbert, was called in by the 3 officials, and they were told by the officials told security that if he stands on the court or comes on the court, to definitely eject him. They don't mind if he's yelling, doesn't mind if he stands up on occasion, but they told him not to go on the court. They don't care who he is. If he's a fan, he does not belong on the court. Mark?
Craig.
We saw the gentleman escorted out of the game in San Antonio tonight who walked underneath the basket as Shaquille O'Neal was shooting a free throw, holding up a poster. You must stay off the player's territory.
San Antonio in possession as this third quarter gets underway. Duncan, yes. Tim Duncan with the open shot. Robert Horry reacting late. And the Lakers now lead by 12.
Well, we saw the porous Laker defense from games 1 and 2 change completely. 35% shooting for San Antonio in the first half. Just 1 for 5 from the three-point line where they had been shooting 50% coming into this game.
Tony Parker called on the foul. The Spurs, remember, took all 4 games against the Lakers in the regular season, although Shaquille O'Neal missed 2 of those games. They swept the Lakers for the first time since the 97-98 season. It all began opening night last October the 29th here at Staples, the night the Lakers received their third championship ring in 3 years. And the 2 straight out in San Antonio, so it has been 6 in a row for the Spurs over Phil Jackson's Lakers. And a reach-in foul on Fisher.
So San Antonio come out, reverse the ball from the right side of the floor to the left side of the floor. And as soon as they felt the pressure by the Lakers, they ran a backdoor move. That's what started the whole play off.
Well, David Robinson at the line. Remember last year, David set back in the playoffs by a chipped disc in his lower back, aggravated a nerve, played through chronic back and knee pain, as he has the last 5-6 years. He did miss game 2 series against Phoenix because of a cartilage tear in his left knee. That's supposed to be his good knee.
And Marv, that back problem that you mentioned, that's part of the reason why day-to-day Greg Popovich is not quite sure what they're going to get out of him. Some days that little piece that's floating around there is on a nerve and it's bothering them. They can't move. Other days it feels fine.
Here's Bryant with the shot clock running down. So Kobe able to hit from downtown. He now has 19 points. Duncan is fouled.
Here comes Kobe taking the baseline action, seeing the big people coming. A little piece of backboard, a little piece of hand, but still stays with it. This is perseverance. Get behind that three-point line and then finish it off.
Foul called on Fisher. That's his third. So 3 apiece on Fisher, George, and O'Neal. Tim Duncan now 2 for 4 from the line. 55-41 Lakers. George for 3. Robinson with the rebound. Evan George moving surprisingly well despite that ankle sprain. Duncan, yes. Tim Duncan backing his way on Robert Ory.
And Mark, you think about it, George starts the game, gives him the big burst of energy, picks up 3 fouls, plays a total of just 12 minutes in the first half, gets a chance to rest it, starts off the second half again.
O'Neal getting position. Shaquille O'Neal with a nice move off glass. Lakers extend to a 57-43 advantage.
A little bit of grace to that move. Instead of trying to overpower David Robinson, he spun away from it and went straight up on the shot, so they couldn't call the offensive foul.
Here's Bowen, had to settle for a 2. Lakers have done a good job against Bruce Bowen, who was on fire in game 2. From downtown, 10 of 12 overall. Ory. Robert Ory getting the roll. So Robert Ory very much back into the offense. He has 11. He's at 4 of 8 from the floor. Parker. And deflected out of bounds by the Spurs.
You see Los Angeles paying attention to blockouts. They do not want to give the Spurs second chance opportunities on the inside. You've got guards in there blocking out. They know that Shaq has his work cut out for him with Robinson on the floor and Duncan together, so you must get everyone else back in there to help out on the glass.
Oh, look out. Fisher slipped. There's Robinson, broken up by Ory, had the hands up. And was able to get a piece of it.
Robert Ory played the hands of the offensive player. He watched Robinson's hands. He couldn't see the ball, but he knew it was coming. When Robinson reached up, Ory put his hand up and deflected it out of bounds.
So this is a San Antonio team that has had great success on the road. Touched on this earlier, 27-14 during the season. They won 18 of the last 20 away from home. Here's Bryant with the step. Oh, what a move by Kobe. That would have brought this crowd, would have brought the house down, but not able to hit, and it leads to the fast break.
He finally had a seam. He got inside the paint where he wanted to be, and then he encountered a little bit too much traffic, got himself up there with nowhere to go.
So the Lakers now lead by 14. 4 minutes gone by in the third. O'Neal to the dropping step, and he has been getting excellent position.
Looks like David Robinson may be moving a little bit slow ball right now. When Shaq faces up on him, put it on the floor with a lot of confidence to create the space.
Tony Parker, and that is his first field goal. Parker just 1 for 6 from the floor. Here's Bryant, and he'll head to the line.
That's some of the automatics that we talked about against pressure defense. If the team is pressuring you, flash somebody into the high post area, run a backdoor from the wing, and get an easy 2 free throws for Kobe Bryant.
Foul committed by Bowen, his third. Kobe 5 for 7 at the line.
Take a look at the automatic series. You'll see right here as someone flashes up into this area. Once you hit the man with the basketball, the key then is, will Kobe Bryant be able to run a backdoor move without flash into the high post area? Kobe runs the backdoor, loses his man. There's the foul.
Despite shooting 16 for 38, 9 for 24, Kobe says this has been more the result of backside help than outstanding one-on-one defensive play by Bruce Bowen. Bryant says individually, Bowen cannot guard me. But it doesn't matter. What is of significance, the Spurs did a stellar job on Kobe the first 2 games. And Bowen had been a major part of that equation. Not a factor here tonight. Tim Duncan, facing the double team, was able to score and thought he was fouled. Duncan has hit all 3 of his shots in this third quarter, so the Lakers now lead by 14. Devin George has been very active, aggressively looking for his shot. He's now 5 for 7. 11 points for George. Parker turned back. Bryant eluding Bowen. And then Bowen able to recapture position. Bryant lost it. Here comes Parker. Jackson. Won't count. Offensive foul. And an excellent play by Robert Horry to draw the charge.
Let's see if Robert Horry gets outside that restricted area. It looks from there like he is outside, but we'll take one more look at a different angle to see if he comes outside the line, gets his feet established, which they are, and clearly there in time to take the charge. Welcome back with the Lakers leading 65-49, up 16, and Shaquille O'Neal with 5 for 8 shooting. It started out in the first half, facing up on his man after he finishes off a beautiful drive to the basket, catches his balance, leads the fast break, and finishes with a dunk. Comes back in the third quarter, and he isolates Robinson, spins away from the pressure to bank it off the glass, and then a little step-through move at the end, clear space, soft touch. 5 for 8 shooting, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists for O'Neal.
Wild pass thrown up court, but Devin George was not able to hold on to, so the ball back to San Antonio. Malik Rose has checked back in. Rose up front with Bowen and Duncan, Parker, and Jackson as the guard. 6.5 remaining in the third. San Antonio down by 16. Here's Duncan. Rose with the rebound. Saw O'Neal step away. Did not want to pick up number 4.
No, he could have come from behind to try to block it, but the good idea is to let him have that one, save that foul.
Now Shaq working on Duncan. Bad pass. And back comes San Antonio. Duncan. Tim Duncan taking it strong to the rim and then putting it off glass. So it's a 12-point game.
Remember the fatiguing you talked about early on, Mark. This pressure, extended pressure defense by San Antonio can take its toll on a team.
Bryant finding O'Neal. Good job by Duncan. Bowen passed on the 3. And now open for 3 and comes up way short. Rebound Jackson. And the San Antonio bench up. They thought Shaq should have been hit with a foul. Bryant not able to hold on. So the Spurs get it back.
Small things, sloppiness, not paying attention to the passes, thrown a little bit behind Kobe. He's got to reach back with one hand to try and make a catch, loses it out of bounds.
Here's Parker, rejected by O'Neal. Bryant for George. Try to reverse, had no angle, but he did draw the foul.
Tim Duncan amazed that a foul was called. His feeling is that Devin George had nowhere to go once he got underneath the rim. Remember, this all started with Shaq blocking the shot, the 2-on-1 opportunity, and right there is where the official called the foul, and that's the one Duncan found hard to believe.
Second on Duncan. Prior to this last possession, the Lakers had turned it over 3 times, 3 of their last 4 possessions. Now, Czar, the stakes are somewhat different. Devin George did pull one out of the pages of Willis Reed in the 1970 championship series against the Lakers. Remember Willis hobbling onto the court, hit his first, you remember, you're shaking your head, 13 points.
After Willis supplied that early energy and emotion, was it not Clyde Frazier then who went on to have a sensational game?
Yes, it was. And one of the classic games in the history of the NBA postseason. Bowen keeps it alive. Here's Jackson open for three. Air ball from Steven Jackson.
You notice that San Antonio seems to be making all the hustle plays right now. These are turnovers, unnecessary turnovers for Los Angeles, not giving them a chance to get shot opportunities at the basket, putting the ball right back again into the Spurs' hands. Lakers need to take care of the basketball.
Sixth turnover this quarter, 13 for the night. Lakers up by 12. Coming up on 4 remaining in the third. Duncan is fouled by Ori.
Well, going back to game number 1, the Lakers had 5 turnovers in the second period, 6 turnovers in the third one. 11 turnovers between those two, and right now you just mentioned they've got 6 already here in the third quarter.
Duncan 2 of 4 at the line, only 71% during the season. Tim Duncan with 12 of his 23 points in this third quarter. San Antonio with intent.
The pressure of San Antonio, the depth of San Antonio, a 16-1 advantage mark. San Antonio bench versus the Laker bench in this game.
Good save by George to get it to Ori, and he was able to go once. I don't think that was his intention.
I do, all the way. I think he had lined it up, played it off that square, and as you can see from our angle, it was perfect.
You're being very generous. Lakers with a 12-point lead. Duncan puts it down. Tim Duncan ecstatic, and was able to add 2 more to his total. He now has 26. O'Neal, and he is fouled by Duncan. That is number 3.
Looks like this is an airstrip, and Tim Duncan, after setting the screen, has a wide open look at the front of the rim, and just in case anybody decided to come up and challenge, he's very emphatic with this finish. He's still not happy, Jack, is he?
O'Neal getting position. Jack has 13 points along with 9 rebounds at the defensive end. He's been very careful because of the 3 fouls. Ginobili is back coming out for Jackson. Ginobili. Now Parker. Here's Duncan around Ori. He was met by O'Neal, and that changed the shot.
And George did a good job of putting his body on Rose, and he let Ori come up with the rebound.
Bryant setting it up on Bowen. And knocked out of bounds by O'Neal. Timeout taken by the Spurs.
We have seen a lot of bodies on the floor in this game.
2:41 remaining in the third.
Welcome back to Staples Center. The Lakers leading the Spurs 71-59. With me, perhaps the most highly acclaimed player to ever participate in high school basketball, LeBron James. First of all, congratulations on an outstanding career and the national championship. How difficult was it to handle all the attention and publicity?
Well, you know, I think for any normal person, I think it'd be pretty hard. But, you know, for growing up and having so much adversity in my life, I think it was pretty easy. And with the help of my teammates and coaches, it made it a lot easier.
What adversity helped you through it?
You know, just growing up with the tough times. You know, we're growing up in the, the lower Akron, and, you know, just being a normal kid. You know, it was kind of hard, but we stuck through it, and then we got through this year.
You'll be in the draft, but you don't know who you'll be playing for. Who would you like to play for?
Man, this is my long-term goal. I'll play for anybody.
Why are you here tonight?
I'm here to watch Kobe and Shaq. Shaq came to my game 2 years ago, and I'm here to watch them try to get a victory.
You always talk about the next Michael Jordan, but who is your game pattern after?
You know, I never pattern my game after anybody, but I can receive flashes of magic and some of Penny Hardaway, one of my favorite players.
All right, thanks a lot for being with us. Have a good weekend. Back tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Craig. Here's Bruce Bowen for 3. It has been a different story for the Spurs from downtown, and that missed 3 led to the fast break. So Kobe has 23 points. The Spurs now 1 for 7 from beyond that 3-point line.
And that young man that Craig just talked to, LeBron James, Marv, really has handled himself extremely well under the pressures this year that he was put under. One thing about it, he is a team player first. He's very unselfish. This guy can be a 35, 40-point scorer night in and night out. The block shot, Lakers come back, but he's not. He doesn't play the game that way. He knows how to play the game. He understands, and he has tremendous gifts. He's been blessed.
Shaq thought he was fouled as Rose trying to poke it away. Shaq to the power move. Going right at Malik Rose. Lakers 75 and the Spurs 59 with a minute and a half to go in the third. A defensive 3-second call against the Lakers.
Most times Rose tries to keep Shaq out of that dark purple area. That time, because of the fake cutting one way, Shaq was able to turn middle. He's too deep. Rose could do nothing with him other than he finishes it off with the dunk. And now Rose goes to the line to shoot the free throw because of the illegal defense.
Speedy Claxton checks back in, replacing Tony Parker. Tony Parker only 1 of 8 from the field. 3 assists. Rick Popovich not getting the production tonight from Parker and Jackson. Ginobili's pass picked off. Not getting it from Ginobili. Bruce Bowen still looking for his first field goal. 0 for 5 from the floor. And the call away from the ball. It is against Claxton.
Well, what it's done is by moving Shaquille O'Neal up to the high post area, it's created more space underneath the basket. It's allowing the other players on the Lakers to fake one way, cut the other way, run splits for each other up high, and then there is more room down low because Shaq isn't down there, nor is his defender down there. Therefore, it creates other opportunities.
San Antonio now over the foul limit. A reminder, Sunday here on TNT, it'll be game 4 between the Pistons and the 76ers, followed by game 4 of the Mavericks and the Kings. Coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. Lakers back to the 17-point lead. It matches their biggest lead of the night. Ginobili, what a move by Manu Ginobili.
That's the one area that the Lakers have struggled with in all 3 games. I mean, in games 1 and 2, they struggle with a lot of areas, Marv, but consistently, it's the pick and roll that the defender on the screener has to do a better job in helping his teammate out.
And Derek Fisher with 14 points. So the Lakers by 17 with 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the foul. So that it's a non-shooting foul. They had 1 foul to give. It's on Horry, his third.
And Robert Horry knew exactly what the foul situation was. He took the foul immediately before Duncan could get it up.
Ginobili from downtown. Only the second 3 for the Spurs. 79-65. We've come up on a half minute remaining in the fourth. Kobe palming the ball. And that is rejected and fouled. Bowen thought he had the clean block, and Bowen just walks away from the officiating crew. He had picked up a technical earlier.
Well, it's not only Bowen, it's the next teammate who would come across the baseline on the rotation. Malik Rose is there to try and pick up the offensive foul.
And apparently they have charged Rose with the foul. That's 3 on Rose. Greg Popovich out to center court to discuss it with Mark Wonderlich.
Well, he could have sent Jack over to discuss it if he wanted to.
Jack has calmed down here in the second half. Lakers 81, Spurs 65. 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock as this third quarter winds down. Here's Claxton. Nice move by Speedy Claxton. 7 seconds remaining in the third. Fisher. O'Neal to the hook shot. we rarely see the sweeping hook from Shaquille O'Neal.
I loved it. He loved it too. He wanted to try it. He knew the clock was running down. Why not try it at that particular time? If it ever would have gone in, think about the roar of the crowd.
Shaq, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocked shots. Did not pick up a foul at all in the third, so he has the 3 fouls. 6 assists also for Shaq, and that set the tone early. Fourth quarter underway. Bryant. Kobe draws the foul. He heads to the line. Kobe with 25 points. San Antonio led by Tim Duncan. He has 26, 15 of the 26 in the third. Bryant, 9 of 11 from the line.
I think, Marv, that Steve Jarry just may have called a delay of game against San Antonio. On a second delay of game, it would be a technical foul.
Lakers shooting 52% for the night. Spurs down at 40. Lakers 83 and the Spurs 67. Andy Ferry is back. Ferry up front with Duncan and Ginobili. O'Neal with the rebound. Brian Shaw is back. Shaw and Fisher at the guards. Bryant with Matson and O'Neal up front. Here's Kobe. Rebounded by O'Neal. Bryant. It counts and the foul.
Some nice passing by the big man, Shaquille O'Neal. After he gets the offensive rebound, he looks right down the heart of the defense and finds his teammate. You see Ferry foul him from behind. Marv, in games 1 and 2 combined, Kobe Bryant shot just 12 free throws, 9 for 12 in the first 2 games. Right now, this will be his 14th free throw attempt.
A technical foul has been called on Stephen Jackson. Greg Popovich glaring at Jackson, and Jackson looking over at the bench as if to say, "Leave me in, I'm okay." So Kobe hits the tee. He now has 30. And now looks to complete, which would be a 4-point play. Lakers with their biggest lead of the game, up by 20. Here is Ginobili. O'Neal on the box out. Nice pass. Paxson to Bryant. The Lakers have outscored the Spurs 8-0. In this fourth quarter, all 8 points scored by Kobe Bryant.
Another one of those automatic pressure releases. Get somebody in that high post area. When the wing is being overplayed, hit the high post, run a back door with the wing.
Tim Duncan showing his specialty. Going glass from the perimeter.
You know, I get so excited when it happens because that brings a smile to your face. I know it makes you happy when you see players use the backboard. Robert Horry made you happy in the first half, and now Tim Duncan.
Love the bank shot. There's Bryant, and he is fouled again.
Again, pressure releases. If the wing is being denied the first pass, you hit the high post, and then the wing goes back door. Perfect example. Nice bounce pass that time by Matson. Kobe's on the move. Matson hits him on the fly.
Czar, in your coaching days, didn't you like to see your players using glass? It's a higher percentage shot.
I loved my players. We had a glass or backboard drill, shooting drill. The other day, when you saw it for the first time,
Very exciting.
First practice, you were so excited. Like it was the first time you ever thought a coach ever used a drill where you had to make shots off the glass.
See, I felt that Tim Duncan insisted that everybody shoot going glass. That's why the Spurs had that particular drill. And now Kobe with the last 12 points for the Lakers, who lead at 91-69. We're early in the fourth. Claxton. And a foul. Loose ball foul on Ferry. That is his third. Now Kevin Willis has come on. Steve Smith, who played briefly in game 2, has checked in. Samaki Walker comes on for the Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal hears it from the crowd. Outstanding performance by Shaq. 15 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks, 6 assists. Bryant gets it to Matson. And we appear to be headed to extensive garbage time here in the fourth. The Lakers returning the favor to the Spurs, who led by as many as 33 back in game 2 Wednesday night. Foul committed by Matson. Willis, Rose, Smith, Ginobili, and Claxton now out there for the Spurs. And here is Smith, rebounded by Willis. Kevin Willis with his first field goal. Lakers 93, Spurs 71. Game 4 of this series, Sunday afternoon here in Los Angeles. Bryant forcing. He thought he was fouled. Claxton is on it. It's a 3-on-2. Here's Rose set up by Smith.
That's probably the first time, would you agree, that Kobe took a shot that was not within the flow, didn't come easy to him, tried to force that one up over the top. Maybe he was just trying to draw the foul, but he could have kicked that one out, made it a little bit easier for a teammate.
Yes, his shot selection has been superb tonight. There could be no complaints from the coaching staff. They felt too much one-on-one in games 1 and 2. Off the steal, Claxton gets it down to Smith, and Smith is fouled. Foul on Shaw, and a timeout taken with 8:41 remaining in the fourth. Lakers lead it by 20.
Kobe Bryant, excellent shot selection tonight, coming in the flow of the offense, finding space to get looks at the basket. He gets himself back behind the three-point line, spins away from the defense and hits the three-pointer. Then to show that he can run that backdoor, assist Matson. And then again, getting ways to find easy scores. Kobe attacking the basket, and it pays off.
You see Hall of Famer Jerry West's number up in the rafters here at Staples. That shot sent game 3 to overtime. At overtime, the Lakers scored only 6 points and lost the game. 111-108 for the Knicks, who won the series in 7. And now Mark Matson hears it from this crowd. Strong defensive work by Matson. Shaquille O'Neal is back on the floor, up front with Samaki Walker, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, and Brian Shaw in the backcourt. Lakers set the tone early. Shaquille O'Neal with some good pass work, looking to get others involved. Picked up assist on the first 3 buckets by the Lakers. Devin George, in a surprise, started the game despite that severe ankle injury. Hit his first 2 shots, provided inspiration. 5 of 7. 13 points in all for George, who was not supposed to play tonight.
So game ball goes tonight to who? Who would you say goes to? You don't want to say who it's going to. You're just going to...
I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Setup. You're going to say the medical staff.
It should be. Should it not be?
Well, I'm not arguing.
Gary Beatty, Dr. Lombardo over there on the sideline. They got that guy ready to play. They were thinking he'd be out for the remainder of the series.
You're very confrontational. I'm not disagreeing.
There's Gary Beatty on the left. Dr. Lombardo on the right. Those 2 guys, the first 2 nights, they stayed up all night with him, giving it the electrical stimulus treatment, trying to get that swelling out of there. He was off crutches by the 2nd day.
Gary Beatty telling me he would like to give you the electrical stimulus.
That's not nice.
Off offensive foul is called. It is on Bryant. His second. Let's go to Craig.
Mike was commenting about the great job the medical staff did. The easy part was getting the ice and the elevation the first 2 nights. The hard part was restoring the strength, but they did a great job with the massage and stem treatment. But then they still had to pass Phil Jackson's test, which was a diamond drill today in practice, shuffling the feet, going back and forth in the triangle. When he passed that, coach was still a little bit hesitant, so it wasn't a surprise start. But I agree, they should get a big assist.
Craig, I hate to tell you this, but Phil Jackson told us that he failed the diamond drill when he tried it this morning, so they must have done some job since the morning practice and the beginning of the game.
You're getting into it with Craig Sager now?
No, don't try and make Craig an enemy. Like you turn so many people against me.
93-75. Lakers with the lead. Here's Bowen for 3, and Bowen finally hits a shot. That's his first field goal in 30 minutes of play.
It was like nobody knew that Bowen was in the corner. Fisher was running around trying to figure out where was the man he was supposed to be defending. Eventually he realized it was Bowen deep in the left-hand corner.
O'Neal once again with a hook. Here's Shaq. It counts, and the foul. With time running down in the third, I think Shaq loved the idea of the sweeping hook so much that he brought it back.
He's determined to make one of these sweeping hooks, and after it, there's the momentum. Good look at it. Ball happens to come right back in his hands. Duncan tries to take the foul to stop the layup. Instead, he's got an opportunity now for a three-point play.
Kobe Bryant hears it from the crowd as he sits down. He has played the entire game, 41 minutes, 35 points for Kobe. Lakers have led by as many as 24. They now lead by 17. O'Neal 1 of 2 at the line.
Kobe with 17 free throw attempts. San Antonio Spurs with 21 free throw attempts as a team.
Duncan backing his way. Here's Bowen for 3. And last touch by Claxton.
You saw Devin George closing out on Bowen, running out to challenge him, but he really didn't leave his feet and spring and get up there because it's so tender, that ankle. He ran out, had a hand up, but it was what I would call a low challenge, grabbing a high one.
Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert with the Czar, Mike Fratello, Craig Sager, Brett Staples, and Los Angeles. Horry. That's an unusual shot for Robert Horry.
Well, they ran about 9 cuts, and nobody was open. Horry was holding the ball. Finally, shot clock was running down. Horry said, all right, let me just take one over here and jack it up.
Nice play. Willis taking that lead from Duncan, so the Lakers now lead 95-80.
They get another basket here in San Antonio. Without the Lakers answering, you're going to see Kobe Bryant back in this basketball game.
First, the Lakers take a timeout, an 11-2 run by San Antonio. 5:28 to go in the fourth quarter. 12 from the field. He had 25 points. Kobe Bryant is back on the floor. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Nice pass. Horry sets it up for O'Neal.
Kevin Willis had lost his footing, got knocked down. Nobody guard Shaq. He rolled to the basket. Easy finish. Our congratulations to Danny Ainge. Good luck with the job up there in Boston. And it looks like Keon Clark, I would imagine, would move into the starting lineup for Sacramento in place of Weber.
Obviously a major loss for the Kings, but they have fared well when Weber has been sidelined.
But that's a huge loss. He had 31 points in 29 minutes before he was in. Shaq out in front, catches the touchdown pass, and finishes.
Lakers lead by 19. The Los Angeles Lakers battling their way back into this series after they were outplayed games 1 and 2 in San Antonio. And they'll be in a position to tie the series. It's a 24-second violation. Basket won't count. They'll be able to tie it back here on Sunday afternoon in Game 4. Or, of course, the Spurs can go up 3-1 with the series shifting back to San Antonio. Tim Duncan sitting down as Greg Popovich has Kevin Willis, Malik Rose, and Bruce Bowen on the front line. Steve Smith, Tony Parker in the backcourt. Bowen back on Bryant. They clear it out. Bryant with the step. Bryant is fouled. Kobe is 15 of 17 at the line.
Kobe making a determined effort coming back home in his building that he was going to attack the front of the rim. The coach helped him a little bit by tinkering with the offense, putting people in some different places on the floor, opening it up, open some space up along the baseline by bringing Shaq up high occasionally. Kobe's gotten some easy baskets without working hard by simply running a backdoor move. Those ways you help your player out get points.
Kobe has hit his last 14 free throws. 4 minutes remaining on the fourth. Parker sets it up for Willis. So the Lakers now lead 101-82. Sorry, did you want to dispute any additional Craig Sager sideline reports? He is very upset with you. Here's Bryant. Yes. 39 for Kobe.
I don't think I disputed. I just tried to help him out, as I do you most nights. I will have to admit this. You felt offensive foul call by Kevin Willis there.
Yes.
You felt from the beginning of the night, and I will admit this, it's hard to admit, but you felt that the Lakers were going to play an outstanding game. It was just something that you said you felt coming on. You felt they were going to have a big night tonight and win this game convincingly. I was not so sure. I'll have to admit that at this point you are correct.
Kobe Bryant hears it from this capacity crowd as he's replaced by Brian Shaw. Kobe with 39, 14 of the 39 here in the fourth. Kevin George, played by Steve Smith. Here's Robert Horry. Lakers getting balanced scoring here tonight as Smith not able to handle that rebound. And again, Shaq looks lead the break, but he was stripped by fellow big man Kevin Willis, who then went behind the back. Malik Rose. Shaq playing to the crowd on that one.
Well, I think Shaq, he's only 2 assists away from a triple-double. So if he takes that fast break, leads it down the other end, and makes the right decision with it, and they finish the playoff, then he's 1 assist short.
2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. And Shaw was blocked. Foul committed by Ginobili. A timeout being called by San Antonio. 2:25 remaining in the fourth. It has been all Lakers. Lakers with the commanding lead as we resume. Brian Shaw at the line. Coming into this evening's game, this new territory for a Laker team, down 2-0. The last time a Phil Jackson coach team was down 0-2 in a playoff series back in the '94 Eastern Conference semifinals between the Bulls and the Knicks. Bulls won the next 2 games at home and then lost a critical Game 5 in the final seconds on that controversial Hugh Hollins call against Scottie Pippen. Steve Kerr has checked in. Danny Ferry is back. Here's Speedy Claxton. And a foul is called.
Didn't Hubert Davis hit the foul shots at that particular time? Back then?
Yes. Pargo on the foul.
You know, we talk about drama all the time. Drama is where will Alonzo Mourning play next year?
Many possibilities as he has been cleared. Shot clock to 3. Willis. It's a 2-on-1. Pargo with Medvedenko just came out. So the ball back to San Antonio. And Kobe Bryant, tonight's Gatorade peak performer. 39 points, 14 of the 39 in the fourth quarter. 17 of 19 from the foul line. Work at the line, equaling career playoff highs, the 17 free throws and the 19 free throw attempts. And the foul is called on Medvedenko. Shaquille O'Neal, 21 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 block shots.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant was shooting just 40% coming into the game tonight. 25 for 62. He certainly has turned that thing around this season with that performance. 18 for 23 from the floor. I'm sorry, 10 for 23 from the floor. So I meant to say 17 for 19 from the foul line.
Once again, the foul on Pargo. So the Spurs now look to game 4 here on Sunday afternoon. Tim Duncan, the high point man for San Antonio, with 28, along with 11 rebounds. Malik Rose with 15 points. The last time that a Laker team won a series after trailing 2-0 was back in 1969 when they beat the San Francisco Warriors in 6. No team in the history of the NBA has won a best of 7 after trailing 3-0, but this will be a 2-1 series momentarily. Claxton, it counts, and the foul. Speedy Claxton will go to the line. A look at the brackets in the West. So it will be a 2-1 lead for the Spurs. Mavericks and the Kings are 1 apiece. Coming up on a minute remaining in the fourth quarter.
Did you mention that we will be in Sacramento on Sunday? I don't think you mentioned it.
I mentioned it to our travel consultants.
Did you mention it to our fans, our viewers, our listeners?
Do you feel that that will be some kind of an attraction? That you will be in Sacramento?
Perhaps
it's the game, Czar. No, it's the game. We will be at Arco. That does not count. A foul before the shot. It's called on Kerr. So Kareem Rush at the line. Rush, the rookie from Missouri. First round pick of Toronto and then traded to the Lakers along with Tracy Murray. .40 free throws attempted by the Lakers. 33 of 40 at the line. The Spurs going to the line just 24 times. Claxton able to put it home.
So you may have forgotten that Sunday is Mother's Day. And my mother may have liked to know where I was going to be for that day.
You do not speak. She only finds out
she has time for
television.
But she has time for me.
Crowd wants Maxson to score, and he does.
He does. He answers.
In effect, you communicate with your family via your television work.
That's it.
Here's Kerr. Willis with the rebound. And the Lakers have a 108-93 lead. We're down to 20 seconds. A bizarre night here in L.A. as Steve Smith off the steal is able to score. Crowd booing with Smith taking it away from the Lakers. We're just looking to run the clock out, and Maxson is able to score. I mentioned a bizarre night because it was the first half that saw Jack Nicholson warned by the officials and was actually warned that he might be ejected. A night that saw Devin George, who was not supposed to play, provide inspiration to the Lakers, hitting the first 2 shots of the game and coming up with a solid effort. Finished with 13 points. Good balance for LA, led by Kobe Bryant with 39, Shaquille O'Neal at 21, 13 apiece for George and Ori, and 14 for Fisher. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Kobe, you've proven you can get your shot off against anybody, but sometimes you have to work harder. Why was it easier for you to get to the whole thing?
Just move without the ball. You know, with Bruce, you kind of have to go to a different form of attack. Instead of attacking off the dribble, I think you saw tonight, we moved the ball, and I moved without the basketball. And that creates easy opportunities for myself and easy opportunities for my teammates.
17 of 19 from the line. You really went aggressive to the hole. Were you challenged by what happened in game 2 when Bruce Bowen had such a good game?
Yeah, it motivated me, but it was important for me to remain poised and not take us out of the context of our offense. There's a certain way that we can get things done against this ball club, and it's imperative that we stick to the script.
Well, you were down 0-2, new territory. You feel a lot better being down 2-1, don't you?
Well, I mean, you know, they took care of their home court. Now the pressure's on us to do the same thing. Now we have to come back on Sunday and get another one.
Thanks a lot. 39 points by Kobe Bryant. Let's go back tomorrow.